Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Karis and this is episode 2 of the starter build series that we're doing. Focused on sort of design and sort of general layout and stuff, as well as kind of just showing sort of, building profitable cities and functional cities and stuff like that. It seems like we're actually making 500 a week, making big money. People are moving in. Haven't quite hit that initial milestone yet. However, we do have the residential down here to be able to take care of that. How are we looking on power? I'm actually a little bit curious. Yeah, power is starting to get a little bit touchy here. I think what we'll do is we'll actually raise this power budget up. I doubt it's going to cost us that much more because we're just making more and more money per week. We do need more industry down, however. There we go. There's the big windfall of money there. We got 20,000 bucks. We can take out loans, and we do need to get a landfill set up and eventually medical clinic. We are not going to be worrying about. We're actually not going to be worrying much about the actual schooling right away. So let's just keep the speed of the game going. So we got to actually crank that back up. That's going to end up bopping the power out here, which is not good, but maybe we could squeeze one of these in to kind of bridge it somehow. Is that going to get us hooked up power-wise? No, not quite. Close, but not quite. That kind of at least gets us out of that annoying area. Now this is going to want to fill in here. We don't have much commercial demand. I kind of want to move these residential houses back. We have plenty of area that's already like marked up for residential. Is this all going to be... This is not all going to be watered though. So let's make sure we are watering the future industrial sections. And yeah, you could be a lot more effective about the piping. Heck, maybe that's actually why we didn't have... Maybe we should have done power lines and then done pipes. Or something like that in the initial bit. We ended up pulling it back. We do need 10,000 for the health clinic. Let's go back up to speed 3 so we can continue to make that money. We do have taxes unlocked. We want to bring those up to 12%. That's going to give us a big boon in sort of our actual net profit is going to go up significantly because that... We could take a bank loan. This costs us 400 per week. So as long as our number down here is more than 400 per week, then basically the loan is essentially kind of like free money in a sense. Like it's not going to put us in any danger or anything like that. So it's just going to reduce this weekly income by 400. Other than that, we don't have to think about it. Because the reality is by the time 52 weeks goes by, we're going to have so much money. Like the extra 1,000 that we're spending on that loan is just literally nothing. Literally nothing. So we could do that if we wanted to, but honestly, I don't even know if we need to. I don't even think we need to at this point. Well, one thing I have is I have the European. This is something I believe anyone can set this. Like you can have the European stuff going with the international stuff. So that, just keep that in mind. That's why I'm getting some additional buildings here, is because they're the European sort of variants. Actually, you know what? I am going to take a loan just to kind of show how insignificant it is, but then because we do need another actual wind turbine. I want to make sure this is like 8 megawatts if we can. We still have our power up to 150%. We could actually build another one of these and then bring that power budget down a bit instead of having it that high. So that should give us about 24 megawatts. That's going to give us a little room to grow. Yeah, which is nice. So we don't have to think about that too much. Plus, wait a second. What? We just hit the worthy village. Just hit the worthy village. That's more cash. That also means police and fire. Okay, so let's set the fire up out in the industry area. I think that's the most thematic. We never did actually. Interesting. So we have the European stuff there, you can see. We never did actually set that down. That's fine. Oh, I just realized that this building placed there can't service these buildings unless they go all the way around. That's actually not that big of a deal. That's not that big of a deal. It still makes them happy. Still makes them happy. Let's come over here and get a police station. We already got our medical clinic down, didn't we? Let's get a police station sort of over where we're kind of expecting the commercial area to mostly be in the end. Actually, it is asking for more commercial. What I'm going to do is I am going to bop these homes. That's going to be a power situation, though. It is a very delicate power bridge right there. Until we actually get like a connection, a power connection this way, that's going to be a big problem. Actually, no, we have the ability to we have money now. We can buy power lines. We're not completely broke. We're not completely broke. So let's get these over here. We could turn on anarchy, right? If you have anarchy, you can just turn that on and just build power lines how you want. Don't have to worry about it so much. That's going to reconnect everything up. I do eventually want to kind of get rid of these power lines. I mean, we could probably have a shorter one here to here, especially if we're like here. I am going to, we are going to use anarchy here. And I'm going to raise this up. See, can we get rid of snapping too, please? Thanks. Okay, that should be a connection point there. So with that, we should be able to actually get rid of this. Okay, and once we get this joined up somehow, which it's joined up down there now. Well, sorry, yeah, never mind. It was the fact that this wasn't connected that was actually the issue. So we probably do want to add like a service or something that is going to keep this area down here. We don't have parks unlocked yet. Looks like we unlocked those at 1400 pop. I think for the most part, we're just going to keep going with the flow here. In terms of getting things going and getting the population up, we can go back to higher speed if we want. Try to get more done. Actually, you know what? 2-speed will work just fine. Looks like we don't have much demand for anything. We could end up, we have the money. Well, we do still have that loan, but we're making tons of money per week, so I'm not really worried about the loan itself. But we could end up adding a elementary school, spending most of the money on that, but there you go. Once we get some more money, I do probably want to try to do that adjoining of these two sections here, where I think that actually looks like a good point there. Kind of have this sort of come out 11. Because I think that's kind of a cross section there. We're actually running out of, we're actually getting power issues. Which means our water and our sewage isn't quite like functioning at full blast. Let's go back to speed 3. We need a little bit more money to get another wind turbine. You know, we could just invest in the bigger option here too. It wouldn't be that bad at this point now that we're getting a lot more demand, but honestly, I just like building the wind turbines. They're cheap and effective. This area is just complaining it doesn't have piping. Oh, we're actually using over 30,000 cubic meters. Again, I'm just gonna, we could kind of like slowly bring this up over time to kind of maintain a little bit more money per week. I'm not worried about that. I'm just gonna bring that up all the way so we don't have to think about it anymore. Okay, so this road here, right, I think eventually is going to kind of go through this way. I think this train, we might keep this elevated in the future. It might go over this road. There's also like a little bit of a hilly bump here. So I think it kind of makes sense here. We could actually start by doing this road. And honestly, it would almost make sense to keep this elevated up. It would almost kind of make sense to keep this kind of flattish. Kind of just have that sort of bridging over nicely and keep it kind of flat over here. What's this going to look like? I like that double bridge there. Okay, we could use Move It to clean this up, right? But I kind of like this in general. We do need to swing this over. This is probably where the roundabout's actually going to be. So here, I am going to use Move It really quick. You're not going to need move it to load the save or anything like that, but move it's going to be what essentially fixes this for us. The question is, if I level it to here, how deep is that going to sink this down? Because are those two, you know, we're going to slope it. We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to slope it A to B. Boom. Done. Just a slight downward slope from here down, but it's pretty subtle, and it's definitely, I think, more than believable. I think that bridge turned out pretty good. This probably is going to be a small roundabout, but its importance is, it has a lot of importance. So actually, you know what? We're going to do this differently. Because the roundabout needs to involve this road, right? Like this road needs to kind of stay the way that it is, which means I do want to get power connected this way. So let's get a little park right here, because what this park is going to do is this park is going to essentially connect up power from here to here, so that when we actually go in here and start destroying roads and stuff, that's going to be super janky for now, but I do want to delete a lot of this, because I think we want the roundabout to actually be like right here. And I might just go in and make the roundabout for like to start. And then we can use move it to kind of like sort of more properly align it. Hopefully everything will just kind of like fit in nicely. This is kind of a bigger one too. And I think what we really needed to build here. Okay, everybody's right out of power here. Let's pause and build another one of these here, and that should kind of get that should get the power all connected. Okay, cool. Is power getting turned back on, guys? There we go. Good. I think we hit a milestone in there too, didn't we? At some point, what do we need? Death care or something? Tiny town. Well, that gave us the parks, but did it give us the new services? Just parks. Death care is at the next stage. It's not quite as smooth as I would have wanted that entry, but I think we want this to be rounded. Because that's sort of the main through there into here. That also kind of makes it seem like these are kind of tight. I'm wondering if we go in here, can we get rid of road bending here with fine road tools? And we have anarchy on. Okay. Don't need those anymore. Now we have something that I think is kind of neat and also potentially kind of effective. Let's just swing this into a more like usable area. That's looking good. Now, if you had Traffic Manager mod, right, you'd need to use Traffic Manager mod to really like optimize this. But this is, I think, a little bit better than what we had initially. Yeah, I think this looks good. I think that actually looks pretty good. We do, of course, need to then connect these together. And the freeway is definitely a lot faster. Again, the cool thing is if you had Traffic Manager mod, you could sort of do some additional work here to make it so certain kinds of vehicles are going through here. Like maybe residential vehicles use this and the freight vehicles use the freight. I don't know. You could kind of divvy it up that way if you wanted to. You could do all kinds of interesting things. For now, we're going to see if anybody uses this. It'll be interesting to see if anybody does. One of the problems actually that we have here that I'm noticing is we kind of actually need a way for people to get back quickly, right? Because people don't want to like go all the way down here and then loop back. So this actually is going to kind of like cutting the snail there is going to allow these people to get a little bit more of a direct thing. Also, if we go into here, I think we can get rid of traffic lights, which we need to do now. We might need to rebuild that. I wonder if it's not letting us affect that because it was like one of the original pieces on the map. I'm not sure. This should work if we just rebuild it though. Huh. Okay, go to ground. I'm not trying to refund, I'm trying to build the ground. This is because the map author like used a key here to create this sort of like, you know, classic sort of American simple little interchange thing. There we go. We can get rid of it. There. Traffic light is gone. Good, good, good. We definitely need like way more of everything though. But I think, honestly, guys, I think that's a successful second episode there. We've done a lot more infrastructure work. We're well in the green economically. And I think we're caught up on all of our, we have all of our services down. City's making tons of money. Up to 1,500 pop. We're going to be coming up on Boomtown here shortly. We have another tile to use if we wanted to, but of course I think in this series it makes sense to save the tiles. Let anybody that wants to download the map and keep going with it do which tiles they want. But I'm kind of liking the circular nature over here. I'm kind of thinking there's a little bit of a circular kind of element sort of here. It does look like this. We might need to start kind of going with this slope here by kind of doing some sort of hook curve there. But yeah, we just need to start gridding all this up. Not gridding it up, but necessarily, but basically just adding roads to all this. Honestly, the reality of the fact is I could see that this road actually coming over and sort of cutting off a little bit, rounding out the industry a little bit so that we can have some more residential up here, because it would make sense to have some residential near the industry and not just like so far away, unnecessarily far away, but also the industry doesn't need all of this to themselves. That's a pretty big, large area. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode. I will see you guys in the next one.